We obviously don't have time to go into every aspect of your career, but I
No.
feel like we should give a little love to this show that some of you might have seen, Killing Eve.
Yes.
Okay, so you get the job, you get on set. Are the vibes immediately different for whatever reason from the top down, from Sandra, from Phoebe? Did you sense from day one that this, whether it's going to turn out great or not, it's a different kind of a production?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I felt that when I read the script. I remember being sent the first episode, and I'd obviously watched Fleabag and was just like, okay, well, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the best thing ever. You know, and was so curious what she'd do next. And I remember reading the first episode and being like, wow, I've never read a script like this before, and it just felt so fresh and exciting. And then, you know, to meet the costume designers and the set design and the, you know, Harry Bradbeer, who started us off as kind of lead director. And then, yeah, and get into set. It just felt very new, and it also felt like you couldn't put it into any sort of box,
right.
You know, and that can also sometimes be a little terrifying because I feel like everyone wants to put something in a box.
It's this meets that, or it's
yeah,
and then
yeah.
this was
so when
yeah.
it isn't, it's, you know, it's the unknown, which is actually, I think, when the most kind of brilliant things are brought to life is
right.
when it's, you're not quite sure what it is.
And then, of course, it's the reception happens,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother thing. I mean, it could have been rewarding in its own right, and then it comes and goes, and it's a season and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you remember when it premiered and when the reviews started to come in, and when you started to sense, oh, this is clicking with audiences in a really profound way?
I feel like, well, I remember when we went back for season 2 and we were filming in London, and I remember, you know, there'd just be so, if people noticed us filming, there'd be like so many crowds of people, you know, whereas like the first year we were able to just kind of go unnoticed and no one was really bothered. And I remember that response. I remember the Halloween costumes, you know, the fan art, and also like just people, you know, approaching me in the street. You know, I'd never had it that much before
Sure.
and it was always Villanelle, you know, it was like there was so much enjoyment. Thank you. You know, people were so excited by her and like, oh, she's brilliant, you know, like she's so bad that it's good, you know, and I love that because it was always like people was telling me something that they didn't really want to admit to, which was great.
I shouldn't say this.
Yeah, like, I mean, so it's so wonderful.
And of course, it works for a number of reasons, and primarily it's that relationship between you and Sandra in the show that works so well.
Yeah.
Let's look at a clip and talk about it on the other side.
No!
Okay? Any memories spring to mind from that particular scene?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple of memories, actually. I remember, because I had massive high heels on that we had to take off. So me and Sandra were a similar height for the dancing. But what I love about that scene in particular, I remember I kind of had a light bulb moment within this scene of when Villanelle admits to killing so many people, and Eve is so, maybe accepting is not the right word, but she doesn't judge and react in a way that she's so often met with, you know, like
right.
At that point, if I remember correctly, it's like Villanelle is feeling like she is this awful person as a result of what she's done, and there's just a moment of stillness. And I remember finding that with Sandra, you know, there's a lot of moments like that we'd have on set that sometimes we would come to and we'd be like, how are we gonna do this, you know, how are we gonna find this in a way that feels honest? And I feel like the relationship that me and Sandra had, it was like so trusting that we always did, you know, it always kind of fell into place, and it was a lovely kind of calm moment in between all the craziness.
Did you guys burn each other's numbers after the show ended? Are you still in contact?
No, we still got each other's numbers.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it's like that thing, isn't it? Of like, you know, you do a job for so long and then, you know, you part ways.
It's the nature of the business.
Yeah, it's something you have to get so used to. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine becoming a fashion icon, a style icon, being in the cards thanks to Villanelle? I mean, her many looks, the iconic wardrobe, really set her apart from the crowd, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, she's the style icon.
Well,
I'm like a t-shirt, jeans, trainers kind of gal. But no, it was remarkable, actually. I mean, when you know, you think back to like the Molly Goddard moment with the pink dress, it was just like, it was crazy. And it was amazing. And also, you know, I think that was like Molly's first collection, and that hadn't come out yet. And, you know, Phoebe Gay, our costume designer, had found it, you know, and sourced it, and it was her idea. So it's so great when you work with people who are so creative and, you know, kind of one step ahead of everything.
it's been a while since you murdered someone on camera. Do you miss it? Do you feel...
Wait, has it?
Was that a reaction before I said the on-camera
I don't know.
part?
I don't know. It has been a while.
Yeah. Do you think you still have the muscle in you? Do you think you'll be ready when duty calls?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
We were talking
too.
about muscle memory before. Maybe it's like one of them. It just comes back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Jodie
Never
annihilates
leaves.
the room. She's like, I know how to do that. I've done that
Still
before.
got it. Yeah.
Look, since the finale of the show, I don't know if you've chatted about it, but obviously it got a big reaction from the audience.
That was mixed. That was very mixed.
Being diplomatic, I know I've seen it. We've all seen it all. Where were you at on the finale? I mean, did you anticipate the reaction from the mixed reaction from the crowd, from the fans?
I mean, I did anticipate a mixed reaction because I think that, you know, we have such an incredible fan base, and, you know, you've all lived with this show for such a long period of time that it almost feels impossible, you know? Like, it was tricky, you know, to dictate what would feel right or what people would believe was right for the characters. I don't like thinking of her floating around the River Thames. So I think she crawled out. Or like, yeah, maybe she's been like reborn and now she's having to deal with her like past life karma. I don't know. But
was there a discussion at the time of like, can we shoot a little more? Can we maybe give it out? Can we, or was it just sort of, this is what it is going to be?
It's hard because it's like, you know, you don't always have the episodes like in advance. Like we read on that show, you know, you're really kind of working right up to the, you know, the kind of final hour. So yeah, there wasn't really like, oh, why don't we shoot this option and then, you know, try something different. But it's tricky, you know, and you want the fans to be satisfied and feel like, you know, the characters came away with what they deserve. But yeah.
Was there for you a period of mourning after the show? I mean, you devoted, you know, a few years of your life to this, and it changed your life in many respects. Yeah. Was it tough to kind of like come out of it and like get back to work, or did going back to work kind of help?
Yeah, I feel like I had my moment of mourning on set because, you know, the scene on the boat.
They know the scene. Whatever you're about to say, they know the scene.
The scene on the boat at the wedding where Sandra's dancing in the crowd. Yeah. And I was off camera. Well, there was a shot where I was on camera as well, actually, but I was just watching her dance and the music was on, and I had this moment where I was like it hit me in that moment where I was so emotional. I was like, I'm not sure this is quite right for the character, but this is how I'm feeling. So yeah, I feel like I had a real moment there, and that's where we wrapped. Actually, we wrapped on that boat. So I feel like I'd have those kind of little like bittersweet moments on set, you know, like kind of witnessing it and like feeling so grateful and how brilliant it's been and how fun it's been.
It also must have been and continues to be mixed with such excitement because, you know, coming off of that, and obviously your career had been going very well prior to Killing Eve, but like what that demonstrated you could do has offered you so many exciting new opportunities.
Yeah.